Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video we're going through every rare error coin you might have. So I'm sure many of you know you get a handful of change. It's always prudent to look through it and find those commemorative coins like this. But today we're going to get rid of that commemorative coin because we're looking through these ones, these normal coins, and these can be worth a lot more than just these commemorative coins. So today it is certainly out with the commemoratives and in with these definitive coins. I will tell you every error to look for from the 1p to the £2 coin. Let's begin. We have up this coin first. Now this does not look like a penny because it's a 20p, or is it? We can see the colour is wrong. This is a 20 pence design struck onto a penny blank. So a penny coin ready to go, but was struck accidentally with the 20 pence design. So an error in matching up of the dies and the designs, causing this error penny or error 20p, however you look at it, to sell for £750, worth looking out for. The Royal Mint do, not in error, but also make silver pennies. We can see there both designs, but in error, they could have been spent or released into circulation. So always make sure your penny is the right metal. So we can always, as with always all coins, double check the metal. And with the next example is even more drastic. We can see here this is a penny ready to go, the penny blank ready to be stamped, but it was stamped somehow with a 50 pence design on both sides. So pennies included in all denominations. There are always some crazy errors that can happen, so always check your change. There are two main errors. The first is the 1983 new pence design. So here we have the normal 1983 two pence. We can see there saying 2 pence, but here notice 1983, but it says new pence rather than 2 pence. This is an error. Not very many at all were made, but they were made in very small quantities for some of the annual sets that year, made of course in error and quickly stopped after this error had been noticed. But of course, collectors are now desperate to get this error into their collection. Now the coin sells for around £1,200. This is a screenshot from the Britannia Coin Company selling one for £1,250. They have sold for a bit higher and a bit lower, but they are, comfortably over £1,000. The other error is the silver 2p. It's not actually silver, but it is a 2p minted onto a 10p coin blank. So it's got the silvery colour, but the 2p design. That one sold there, as you saw, for £800. This is a later version, happened again with the use of the shield design. You can see there, again, this one sold for almost £500. These are very valuable coins, between £400 and £900 for these silver 2ps. So these are the two main 2p errors to look out for. What error 5 pence coins are worth looking out for that are worth much more than 5 pence? Well, firstly is the 2008 shield design. There is a variety where the Queen's portrait is upside down, so rather than rotating horizontally, it rotates vertically. So it's not meant to be, of course, that way around. It should line up with the Queen the right way around, of course. And so this 2008 rotation error 5 pence is selling for around £50. A recent sale on eBay did see one fetch £65. So make sure the Queen's facing the right way. Similarly, make sure your coin is the right colour. Here we have a 1992 5 pence coin struck on a copper blank, possibly a Fiji 1 cent blank. But because it was struck on the wrong blank, not the right 5p blank, it sold for a whopping £161. We have first what's known as a cud error. Now look to the bottom of the coin there, and extra metal has made its way onto the coin. Of course, that big sort of triangle bit of metal is not meant to be there, and extra metal or cud error coins generally sell for around £3 to £6. This coin here is a very obvious error, known as a clipped planchet, where you can see the die has struck the corners of the coin and made a bit of a chip off the edge of the coin. Now these can sell usually for around £10 to £20. We can see here one that sold at auction recently for £52. And the opposite of this is a extra bit of metal, so rather than some being clipped off, some coins will have extra metal around the side of the coin. These are very, very obvious errors, it's easy to find, and usually sell for over £100. You can see this one sold at auction for £130, so always keep an eye out for those. One thing to remember is that error coins are a difficult market, not everyone collects them, and the prices are determined by what buyers will be wanting to pay. We will begin with the most famous of all 20 pence pieces, the undated 20p. Now, of course, this is an error coin rather than a rare date, as of course it has no date at all. Now this is because the design changed from the design we know here, where the date is on the reverse or the tail side, and when it changed, the date then moved over onto the obverse or the head side. So the different designs had the dates on different sides, then causing confusion in the first year of minting, 2008, where the wrong dies were used and matched up, so the new tails or reverse design was used with the old heads design, therefore neither of them had a date on them, and a bunch of coins were made without a date on the 20p piece, causing a very rare error, and making it the first time in over 300 years a British coin entered circulation without featuring a date, and thus the undated 20p piece was born, now considered the holy grail of 20p pieces within the collecting community. So a very, very rare coin indeed. Now the Royal Mint confirmed that no more than 250,000 was struck, so that's very rare, a similar mintage believed than the Kew Gardens, of course, with 210,000 of the Kew Gardens. These coins now sell for around £65 to £100 on the second-hand market, depending on condition and who wants a 20p piece with no date on that day. So there's the first error to look for. Moving now on to error number 2 for the 20p piece. And this is where the 20p piece is minted onto a penny coin blank. So the coins very similar sizes, only 1.4mm difference in the size of the planchet, of course a different colour, but nonetheless these error coins were minted and they have been confirmed as being genuine by the Royal Mint themselves, who admitted that the penny blanks had been mistakenly used for an unknown amount of 20p coins. Unknown, but definitely very, very few, resulting, as we can see here, in the penny 20p, so sort of a mix-up between a penny and 20p coin. As you can see there, the real coins to the left and right and between them, this sort of Frankenstein amalgamation of a penny coin and 20p design. These now sell for around £750. This did happen in a few years, so keep your eyes out. They are very, very rare, and of course have a very big, massive value of £750. But a very important note is to make sure your 20p coin is not just dirty. Weigh it before getting excited, thinking it's a penny on a 20p. The 20p coin should be weighing 5 grams, and the penny, and so therefore the 20p error coin struck onto the penny blank, weighs 3.56 grams. Before you get excited, make sure to weigh it and confirm that it is not just a dirty 20p. Now then, moving on to error number 3 for the 20p pieces. Here is error number 3. And can you see what is wrong with this coin? Well, let's zoom in and find out. This is a very small error, but we can see, just here by the initials of MD for Matthew Dent, the designer, at the bottom of the coin, we can see a small bit of extra metal has made its way onto the coin, looking a bit like an upside down 1 on the coin, or a small sort of line of metal below the bottom of the coin. This is known as a die break error, so the die for the coin is broken, resulting in this bit of extra metal that hasn't been stamped out properly. So the die here, as we can see, this is an example of an older die. If anything happens or damage happens to the surface of this coin die, that damage will then be reflected into the coin that it strikes, of course, and so a small number of these error coins with a small little die break here were released from the Royal Mint, where the dies for those particular coins had broken. Now, once again, as with most errors, these were minted in unknown quantities. Between the years of 2009 and 2011, they are found with this error. Such errors can fetch around £5 to £50, depending on how severe the error is, the condition of the coin it's on, and of course just generally who in the collector market is looking for one and will bid. So those are the 3 main errors across 20p pieces. There are sort of numerous errors here. This is just a complete failure of a coin. You can see struck on the wrong color coin, it looks like, just completely struck off center. A massive error there. That's just, obviously, you won't need a video to find out that that is definitely an error coin and worth keeping. That exact coin you just saw there sold for £1,800, £1,800 for the coin you just saw. There are 3 main error pound coins to look for. Number 1 is the microtext error, the hardest of all to see. Now you will maybe know, on the outside of pound coins, there is microtext for the date on the reverse there. As you can see, the date in the edge of the coin is said in microtext. Now in 2016, some were accidentally struck with the 2017 microtext, so mismatching dates. As we can see here, look to the left, 2016 pound coin, but the microtext says 2017. Very hard to see without a magnifying instrument to see it better. But what is this dual dated pound coin worth? Well, Change Checker have understood that one example was sold for £2,500 in 2017, so definitely look out for that. Number 2 is the single metal variety, error variety of the pound coin. As you can see here, the whole coin is made out of the outer metal. There is no silver part for the inner, of course an error, as it's meant to be a bimetallic coin. Now you can see here the estimate of this coin in auction, 1,000 to 1,400. Now similarly, maybe not the whole coin is an error of the metal, but the inner part could be minted in error. As you can see here, clearly a horrific error in terms of manufacturing, but it now will sell for around £600 depending on the severity of such errors. Now one thing worth noting, if the middle of the coin is out of the coin, that does not mean it's rare, and probably it's actually worth less than £1 as it's just been pushed out and now the coin has been ruined, not a mint error. Now these errors are still being found. Look at this, one day ago, a £600 error £1 coin, minted in all one metal, was found by a postmistress. Now then, number 3 is the lefty. Again, fairly hard to see, but we need to look now. Look to the edge milling of your pound coin. Let's get a close-up on this to see. Now you will see here there is milling, and here there is not. Now a lefty, if we get around here, is where the milling is, you guessed it, to the left. So here we go. There is the milling, but if it is over here on the left of the security feature there, to the left it is a lefty and much rarer and harder to find. These coins, as you can see here, here's one from 2020, a lefty, and it is selling for £8.95. Here is one from 2016, selling for £19.50 with a lefty error. Now these lefties usually sell for around £5 to £20 and are fairly easy to see. What error £2 coins are out there to find? Well, firstly, number 1 is the fried egg error. As we can see here, it is called this as it looks like the sort of the yolk of an egg spilling out into the white, or in this case, the inner metal spilling out into the outer. That can happen on normal coins as you've seen just there, or here happening on a commemorative one with the inner part spilling out. What are these worth? Well, that very one you just saw, the Charles Dickens error, sold for £105. Now usually they do command more money if it happens to a commemorative, especially if it's a bunk commemoratives who are not in circulation. Here we have the Mayflower, a fried egg error on that, selling for £600, but usually just a regular £2 coin from your change with a fried egg error, £45 to £90. Number 2 is the rotation error. As you may have guessed, this is where the coin, the inner part, has rotated. So to the left there is the normal how it should look, and then to the right there is an example of a rotation error where the inner part is rotated. Quite hard to picture unless we have a mirror there to sort of see one side the right way up and then the Queen's portrait facing the wrong way. Now these are quite hard to price because it depends on how much they have rotated, but a general price for a rotation error is around between the £10 and £25 mark, unless it is sort of really severe and on a commemorative it might command a bit more. So there we are. Comment down below if you know of any other errors to be looking for on your change. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bits and Bobs.